Well, hi guys, this is CGTN reporter Cen Ziyuan coming to you live from southeastern China's Zhejiang province. So I'm currently in Tonglu County where this is the equestrian center for the Asian Games. And as you can see, it's a very modern and polished look here. And you can see it's pretty quiet right now because there are no horses here. No more testing games will be held here. So pretty much now they are pretty much just gearing up for the official games happening here in September. So what you're seeing now in front of the cameras are the stables. You can see doors. So pretty much according to what the engineer has told me that each of them have 6 stalls, and then 6 stalls are pretty much in with 4 houses. So a total of one unit has, let me do my calculation here. So 48 of them will be hosted in the same house. So I'm walking over to find my engineer, my guest here today, who can tell you more about what's happening here, about the construction project, and also some of the surroundings here. What are the equipment? 你好。 This is my guest today, who is the construction engineer of the complete equestrian center. So where he is standing now here is the stable, as I just mentioned, for horses to stay overnight, to get rest during competition. And pretty much this is the location. 那您给我们介绍一下吧，包括像每一个这个部分，每一个单元都有什么样的比较特别的这个设置。
Well, this door, if you open it, you can open it in different ways. You can press it down, then you can open it. Well, previously in the competitions, we can see the names of the horses, the ages, and the position where the horses stand in. Would you like to give us more information about this stable? Well, each horse owns their own stable. And here we have a hole and that we can put the feed in for the horses. And you can put in the food, and then you turn it around, then the horse will get their feed. So each time it saves you the effort of throwing in the food or going into the stable personally by yourself. Right, yes. Then, what about the air conditioning in this place? You mentioned that the facilities here is very special. You applied very advanced equipment. Yes, here we have 240 high-standard stables. That means the horses here enjoy very sound facility and equipment. The horses here enjoy the air conditioners. When the horses are in, we will adjust the temperature to an appropriate level. We have staff here to monitor the horses and to monitor the temperature. So for each stable, the air conditioner is connected to a centrally computed facility. So how many horses are accommodated here? We have 240 stables. That means we have 240 horses. So what are some of the highlights about the stables? Well, I think the facility is one of the highlights because the facility is well equipped, and that is quite rare among the stables of its kind. But we are keeping improving the facilities to deliver better service to the horses and the audience. Well, I just mentioned that the competitions are over, and we are waiting for the official matches to begin. Exactly. our staff and colleagues are still in preparation for the official competitions.
So, as you can see, so I will be sharing with you some of the background information here. And this location will be hosting the Equestrian Games here. This is the Tonglu Equestrian Center. 咱们一起到那个户外的吧，然后我给观众讲一下这个背景知识。So I'm asking my guests to pretty much bring me to the outdoor location. There are two practice fields here for horses. One just because when it starts raining, it will be slippery. So being in an outdoor field is quite challenging for horses. It depends on what kind of sand they use. This is some of the features that we will introduce and share with you, which is quite unique at this specific location. Meanwhile, I also want to share with you that maybe you're familiar with the sport itself, but also maybe you're not. So what they're competing for equestrian is the three items. First of all, the dressage, which means they all dress up the horses, and also the athlete will be riding together and dance specific routine. They will all dress up very pretty, and that also include a freestyle. Meanwhile, the second item on the list that they will compete is obstacle events, which this will be also in the main equestrian center, the race field there. And then there are so in gymnastics, they pretty much go through all items. It's kind of like a triathlon. So they will do dressage, they will do obstacle event, and then the last one is pretty much cross country to see how the horses are doing, and also if they're cooperating with the athletes to carry out and all the drills. So this is what we're doing here, and we're now slowly walking toward the practice field here, and this is the field here. And also today is really hot and humid here. I believe that's why the air conditioning is there for the horses, because this is the only sport that involves an animal cooperation and also with humans. So it's important to making sure that these horses are having great condition for rest and also do their drill when they need to compete. So great facility, and you can see it's very modern and polished. I also asked them what it will be after the competition is done, how locals will use the location. They say they don't know yet, but maybe a university would take over and develop equestrian academy here. Before I step onto the practice field, I want my cameraman to show you. 把那几个小房子给他们拍一下. So this is the outside look of the stable here, where the horses will be held. You can see number 1 and 2 on top of the houses. This were where we just at. And then on the back side of it is actually connected with a servant dormitory. What's that mean is that they will be people taking care of the horses here. So their dormitory, where they are staying, are actually connected with where the horses are staying. So they can be taking care of them pretty much on time. And now, as we are approaching to the indoor practice field, that's the location where I was saying that they will be using it if it got slippery outdoors and hard for them to practice. So this is the outdoor location. According to the engineer, the overhead cover is quite unique and also not blocking much view. You can pretty much see from outside what the floor looks like, and I'm pretty much curious how they maintain all this. And I heard the sand is very unique, but let me see if the floor is the same, similar as the the official competition venue. 这个场地就是60乘80的那个吗？
Is this venue taking the size of 60 plus 80 meters? Yes, we also have very high rooftop. What is so special about the rooftop?
这个屋面我们这个是有这个一共是这个11品，我们这个是中间一共是11品的一个
Well, in the rooftop we have 11 square meter triangular shape. in order to present an atmosphere for the equestrian.
不是，它是这个有一块一块的组装，然后焊接这样的。
其实我发现这两个地点的通风。
Well, as I noticed, the ventilation here is very good. No matter when I step in this place or the other venue, the ventilation is very nice. Yes, because this space allows for open air. As the horses are in, we allow the wind to come in. So where are the windows? Well, these are where the windows are. And this is typical of the training site, so that the audience can see how the training is going on inside this place.
那我们慢慢的往室外走。 然后咱们现在看到的还是刚刚的5栋马厩。
Well, in front of us there are 5 stables, and also behind that there is a dormitory with balconies.
这就是马童的这个宿舍。
Well, behind these stables are the dormitories for the staff and our colleagues. So for the monitoring and the maintenance of the stables, the staff will live nearby the stables, right? Yes, the people who serve the stables and the people who serve the competitions are separated. They live in separate places. There is the so-called non-disease area. Why is this place? Well, because the horses that join the competition are those who are introduced from overseas. So it is important to guarantee that they have no disease. Because they live in foreign countries, they live in different environments. So if there is an international match on, we must ensure that the horses are transferred safely. And there must be a non-disease area from the airport to the venue here. So you mean there is a biological chain to ensure the safety of the horses? We must risk against any threats to the health of the horses, right? So what is so special about the grass here? And this lawn is for the horses to step on and to compete. We put sand here. There are a couple of procedures to go through. We have the sand and the grass and the water here to make the horses feel comfortable for them to run on. Well, as I see through my naked eyes, these grass are really different from what I've seen from a distance over there. Yes, we have introduced a different type of lawn here. So if we compare the grass on this side and with the grass on that side, the grasses are different. So when the horses are released from the stables, they will go on this lawn. They will not go take the road that human beings step on. After all, they are going to join the competitions, so we must make sure that they have a special grass, special lawn to step on. Well, these are the outdoor areas for the competition, and we can see different loops in order to cooperate with the trainings of the horses. And this is a warming up zone. So what are these places so different from the indoor areas? Well, the horses will be trained indoor if for weather reasons. There will be so many competitions. Will they have enough spaces? We will divide the horses into different categories to ensure that each country will have their own horses to join the competition. Well, please turn the camera to this area. As we can see behind the stables, there are the dormitories for the staff. These are rare scenes for the audience. And let's check the scenery here. What a nice view. This area is located in the Tonglu County of Zhejiang Province. And the lawn are kept in sound conditions. We have staff working here on the lawn from this morning. Well, on a daily basis, we have the people and the vehicle and the machinery to maintain the lawn. Well, this is really beyond my imagination. From before I started this journey, we have the locker room here. After the competitors change their clothes, they will have the competition here. It gives you a completely different feeling after you step on this route. We have another question for this stadium, for this building. So could you give us more information about the building? Well, this building is mainly the offices for the staff who work here to ensure the competition goes well. Well, I've seen some monitoring facilities, so these are all done in this building. Yes, the maintenance staff are all accommodated here. They work in this building. Well, I heard that you have finished the construction of this building in a very short time. How did you do that? Well, it took us only 8 months to finish the building. After we got the task, we have very limited time in hands in order to ensure the competition goes smoothly. I heard that it took you 390 days to finish the construction of the whole place. Well, yes, that's more than 1 year. Slightly more than 1 year. That also includes the construction of the surrounding facilities and the supporting facilities here. Well, I see that is the first building of its kind in China, so there is no experience to borrow from. From yesterday's broadcast, I learned from some experts and scholars how they built the stadiums of the Asian Games in Hangzhou as they look today. Well, right in front of us is the main stadium of the Equestrian competition. So we are only 100 days ahead of us. In a press conference about the Asian Games, the experts said we are at full speed for the preparation for the Asian Games. On the right side of our hands, so what are these places? Well, this is a warming up zone for the athletes and the horses to get ready for the competition. Before the competition officially begins, this is a standby area. You can rest and train yourself. I noticed there are some sands on the ground. Are these the same with the competition zone? Well, these sand are good for the training of the horses. Most of the materials are imported from Europe. We need to apply water and to the sand and to make them loose. I noticed there are some fiber on the sand. Well, these are called fiber sand, which is different from the normal type of sand you've seen. So if you apply water onto the sand, if there are fiber in the sand, then on rainy days it will not be slippery. Well, the application of water on a daily basis is to keep a certain level of moisture onto the sand, so that the horses will feel very comfortable when stepping on the ground. So why is this tier fiber sand? Because when the horses are in a real competition, the horses need to jump up. It will jump up to 1.6 meters high. But this sand will keep the dust off when the horses jump up. Even when the horses jump up, the sand will not rise up. There will not be any dust going into the eyes of the athletes. Well, in front of us, that is the major venue of the competition. And you can see there is a rooftop surrounding this equestrian venue. Well, we cancelled the hurdles and the fences. We put in place this rooftop, especially to ensure the view of the audience. I heard that if there is a rain, the competition will be threatened, and the horses will be of less capability to play to their best level. So how large is this major venue? Well, it's over 2,000 square meters. Well, the dressage, the competitions, and the obstacle course, the three items all take place here. So when the horses are in a competition, there will be no dust up.
然后这个大概应该是能坐多少人？
How many audience can be accommodated here? We have over 3,000 seats. And from any angle, the audience will have a nice view of the venue. So why do we select the major venue here? Because the view is very broad and nice, given the mountains not far away. So it must be very enjoyable to watch a competition here. Next, should we go to the commanding center? So why do we go there? Because when you go to the commanding center, you will have a complete idea of how the competition will go on and of the layout of the venue. And the commanding center is compared to the brain of the whole competition. And these are all behind the scenes. So be careful. And we have seen the stables. When we step out of the stables, and there are the lawns. And then the training site. And also a standby area for the athletes and the horses. And if you take a turn, you will go to the major venue. So this is roughly the major routes for the competition. I guess many of you must feel very interested to come and see the results for yourself. Well, if for the audience, you will see the gate first, but today we will give you a special tour to the equestrian center. Well, I think the tear fiber sand is very special because from a far distance, you can see staff working on the sand every day. They are very keen to keep the sand to a loose state, but not too loose. So the floor here composed of the sand and the fiber and the water in order to make the competition goes well. The weather is very hot today in the June of Hangzhou City, but I believe when the competition goes on in September, the weather must be very nice. So I want to give you a sense of where we are and how the races will be here. As I just mentioned, the dressage and also obstacle events will be held here. The reason why they're held in here is just not on, for example, grass. It's because those competition events involve, for example, routines, so that they need to make sure that the ground meets the requirements and also a place to display the cooperation between the athletes and the horses. And for the triathlon, there is a cross-country event, a long-distance event here that will be held a bit far away. 就是远方的那个绿地，会是举办那个越野赛，so a bit further away with
plain field of grass. There, that will be where the cross-country event, pretty much long-distance jog for horses, will be happening a bit far away. In terms of equestrian itself, some might not understand what we are looking for in specific competition. That pretty much will be, for example, if the horse is denied to jump over the obstacles, which means they will be disqualified. And also if the athletes fell off the horses, that will deduct certain points. With that, the closer you're getting to zero or you're maintaining zero, that means you're having a good score. You do not want penalties. For example, if the horse denied to jump over the fence, you will get a -6, which means the less point you get, the better you are. So that's what they're watching. It's also if they perform the routine well, if the cooperation between the athletes and horses are well. So those are some of the points that they're competing here, because the competition involves an animal, which is you need to train the horses to do what the athletes want them to do. So it's quite challenging. So these are some of the background info that you might know, you might learn before watching an equestrian game, because this is something quite new to me, but I found it quite interesting learning about it. And now we are going underneath to find out what's happening at the control room. I'm lost. Oh, right here. Woo! 这个是什么？来，我找我的汪公给我讲解一下。
So where is my engineer?
来围观了。我们现在看到的是什么呢？
So what are on the screen?
咱们这边这个现在看见的是咱们场馆这块
where the screen shows
配合服务人员，就是说
the layout of the whole venue.
包括咱们运动员的
The
休息室。
green part refers to the restroom for the
然后呢，
athletes,
就是我们日常
and the orange ones are for the staff.
就是每个区域，包括马
And you can see on the screen different sections of the stables and how they and you can follow up the updates of the whole stables.
这个看到的是一个平面图，然后在咱们屋面上的话，就是像一个繁体的一个码字。
Well, this whole design, whole layout coincides with the Chinese character of a horse in a complete version.
在亚运赛事期间的话，
Well, during the equestrian games of the Asian Games,
中心的一个指挥部，
this command control room is the commanding center for the equestrian game. It is connected to the whole 19th Asian Games.
然后咱们在这里除了这个场馆图之外，它还负责比如说监控。
So, is this room also for controlling and monitoring other places? Yes, we follow up the updates of the stables and different gates. You can all follow up in this room.
然后我们也一起来看一看这边的这整个平面图。
Well, I see. Let's check what's on the layout.
So as you can see, there are actually title with English on it. So making sure that people are able to understand the layout of the venue, and also this is the field of play. That's where we saw, and this is the indoor training ground, which was blank on the picture that we saw on the screen. But this is what it looks like. That's why it says it's a horse. The letter of horse in traditional Chinese. So this is what we are seeing here on the ground, and also if I'm coming in here. So that would be media, exit and entry. And also this is actually the front gate. 这是观众的入口. This is the route that they suggested, but we didn't pick, just because we want you to see what's happening behind the scenes instead of really focusing on, because when audience are coming in, you guys will know coming in from here and then find your seats around a field of play. But what we were doing was to pretty much come from the back side of the venue and see how athletes are actually coming in to this location. So this is what we are. Let me wrapping up here in front of the sign, the Equestrian Center. That's pretty much what we have for you for today. And this is the Tonglu Equestrian Center here. I'm your reporter Cen Ziyuan, and then we will leave you with an aerial view of the center. Bye for now.